In this video, we're going to look at how to build extended constructed responses inside of Canvas New Quizzes. Now, this is an ELA specific or RLA specific question type. So in this video, I'm also going to help you learn a way to embed the reading passage inside of Canvas New Quizzes as well, because that is a question that has come up quite a bit. Okay, so you're going to want to start a new quiz. We are using New Quizzes. And give it a name. When you open to edit, go ahead and set that point value to 100 and set it to DW or test, and then click build. Okay, so for this quiz, we're going to start by adding our reading passage. And to do that, we're going to choose stimulus. So the stimulus is nice in that it sets up on the left-hand side that reading passage, and the questions show up on the right-hand side just like they will on the STAR test. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but here are some of my recommendations. So have that PDF or digital version of your reading passage available. We're going to grab the title for the reading passage and add that right where it says title. And we're going to grab the instructions and paste it where it says instructions. And then in the content, this is where you're going to post the reading passage. Now, it's a kind of small box, and our copy and pasting is going to take just a little bit of time to make sure we get it in just right. But I'm going to go back and forth between the digital version of the reading passage. I'm going to Control-C, copy. I'm going to paste that in to my content box. Notice that it doesn't go in super nice. And I have tried Control-Shift-V when I paste. It's supposed to keep formatting, but that doesn't look great either. It actually looks best to just do the regular Control-V for paste and then clean it up from there. So right here, after the numbering on those paragraphs, I'm going to do 4 spaces on each of those. That looks pretty close to what it does on STAR. And then I'm going to hit enter twice for my paragraph breaks. That makes it about what it looks like on STAR. And again, I'm going to indent 4 spaces every time I start a paragraph. When I'm grabbing an image, I'm going to use that snipping tool, that Windows Shift S, and it's going to open that snipping tool for me. Now, with the snipping tool, you can do a Control-V paste. I have actually not found that works. So I can go in and it looks like it's working. So I'm going to do Control-V. And you see the image goes in there, but once I actually go in and click done, it doesn't appear to work. So what I would recommend instead is to save that image to your device. And instead of trying to paste it in, just go up to the image icon. You're going to browse for it on your device and put the image in that way. You definitely want to make sure that you have done that double enter right here at the end of the paragraph before you have the image in, and then you might want to center it. And then after the image, I'm going to do double enter again for my paragraph break. And then I'm going to continue pasting in the content of this passage. After you get all of the reading passage pasted in, you can decide whether you want the questions to the right or the questions to the questions below. I would go with questions to the right as that looks like STAR. I'm also going to grab the URL to the file that I was using to post that in. Students won't see this, but I'll have a reference back to where I got that passage from. And then I'm going to click done. Don't forget to click done. Okay, so the next step I want you to notice, I have a plus sign available where I can add more content. You don't want to use that right now. What you want to use is attaching questions. That's going to attach questions that go right along with the stimulus. So the stimulus is always going to be on the left-hand side, and then the questions that go along with that stimulus or passage are going to be on the right. You might also want to just scan through. This is what the reading passage is going to look like to students. If you see any places where you need to add some extra spaces or anything where that formatting didn't come through, you can click that pencil icon to go back in to adjust it. Okay, so I'm going to click Attach Question. Today we're going to be looking at that extended constructive response. So I'm going to click Essay. And then right here is where I enter my question prompt. Now that extended constructive response has some pretty specific directions. Now, they look a lot the same from grade level to grade level with some slight adjustments based on the appropriate TEKS that are being assessed at each grade level. So you'll definitely want to pay attention to what those student instructions are at your grade level when you're creating these question types. For this example, I'm just going to grab from the 7th grade test those instructions. So the instructions are right here for how to complete this extended constructive response question. I'm going to paste those right in to the box. Now notice it's kind of a mess. You're going to have to go through and clean this up. Again, I did try to paste already with formatting going in, and it still didn't look great. So I'm going to check back over to see exactly how that should look, and I'm going to set it up exactly the same. So I have a paragraph break here. I'm going to do 2 spaces when I am breaking paragraphs or lines. And right here. And then I'll need to put in a bulleted list. So right here where it says clearly, I'm going to go in and click the bulleted list to begin my bulleted list. I'll need to delete that bullet that copied over. In my bulleted list, because I have a new set of instructions for the students and a different bulleted list. And then end again. Okay, so on this one, you can choose what you want for a student. So that rich content editor on the STAR test, they do get things like changing italics, underlining text, indenting bulleted lists. All of that can be found in the rich content editor. Now that rich content editor does have a few additional things like adding images and graphs and that sort of thing that would not, or tables that would not be available on the STAR test. But I think that what the rich content editor gives the students is probably worth it. You probably don't want to turn on spell check because that would not be available on the STAR test. I'm going to set this to 25 points out of my 100 that this assessment is worth and click done. Okay, so now I can go up and click preview to see what that is going to look like for students. On the left-hand side, they have their reading passage. On the right-hand side, they have the question. Now, on this one, to mirror STAR, if you want to have your students highlight, we can go and we can instruct them to use Google, Read and Write for Google. And so it works right here on this text. They select the text they want highlighted and click the highlight button. And so they can go through and highlight all throughout the text. And they also have the other tools available. So you'd want to point out to students what tools in Read and Write for Google you would want them to use for this question. When I'm done previewing, I just click Exit Preview. Did want to show you one more thing. So if I want to continue to add questions that are attached to this reading passage, I click Attach Question, and I can keep adding questions, and it'll have that reading passage on the left-hand side. If I'm finished using this reading passage and I'm ready to add a different question, maybe a new reading passage, so it's not going to be part of it, I click the plus sign here to add my new content. So I can add as many questions as I want to go along with this reading passage, and it'll continue to show up on the left. If I'm ready to finish, I just click the plus at the top. If you need any support with this question type or any question type in Canvas, please make sure you reach out to your ITS.